Okay, hi everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Amanda Mills. I'm one of the assistant directors of undergraduate admissions at Stony Brook, and I have been at Stony Brook for about 20 years. So I could talk to you all night about Stony Brook, but we're so happy to have our alumni and student panel for you, focusing on students who came to Stony Brook from out of New York or out of state. And they'll introduce themselves in a few minutes and share some really fun information with you about their journeys with Stony Brook. Following the presentation and questions, we'll save some additional time for your questions. And while we won't be discussing general admissions requirements, or next steps, if you do have questions on those topics, you can use the Q&A for that as well. We have Cameron and Katie here from admissions who will be able to answer some of those questions behind the scenes for you. A couple of the links I'll share in the chat with you are recorded sessions on the Stony Brook Admissions YouTube page that you might find helpful in your decision-making process for choosing a college. Also links to upcoming virtual sessions and on-campus tours and admitted student days. So now I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Lauren Maloney, who's going to introduce herself and give you a little background about herself.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Lauren. I grew up in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and I ended up coming to Stony Brook for a whole bunch of different degrees and programs at this point. So originally I came to Stony Brook around 2008 for biomedical engineering. I was also accepted to the WISE program, and because why not, the paramedic program freshman year. So I did my BME, graduated in 2012, and then stayed for medical school at Stony Brook. And then emergency medicine residency. Now they let me supervise residents and patients, and I'm one of the attending physicians. And I am also very much involved in EMS at Stony Brook and locally and regionally in the state and everything else. Participated in all sorts of research and created all sorts of clubs and sailing teams and had all sorts of awesome fun. And I wouldn't have expected to be at Stony Brook for about 15 years now, but I just can't seem to leave and love it. There's so many opportunities available here, and I'm so excited to get to share a lot of the really, really unique things that we have here at Stony Brook from both sides of campus and everything else in between. So it's awesome to see you guys all joining to hear more about the Brook.
And Viola, tell us a little bit about your background.
Hi everyone, I'm Viola. I'm a senior journalism major here at Stony Brook. I'm originally from Waterbury, Connecticut, and I won't be here for 15 years like Lauren. I'm actually graduating this year, and I'm graduating a year early, so I was able to complete my program in 3 years, which is really awesome. I'm also part of the Honors College here at Stony Brook. I run our campus newspaper, The Statesman, and I also run all of our blood drives on campus with the Student Blood Drive Committee, so that's a lot of fun as well. Been involved a lot in like campus media, in our media groups and filming, promotional packages for the school and things like that. So I'm more on the media than the medical side, which is really interesting because our journalism school is a lot smaller since we are typically a STEM school, but I love that about our program. We definitely have that tight-knit community feel within a larger institution, which I love.
Excellent. And before we kind of jump into the topics, can you talk a little bit about, if you remember back to high school and what the college selection process was like, and if there's anything that kind of stands out in terms of, what helped you make your decision and, kind of came to realize that a school out of Massachusetts or Connecticut or out of state was going to be a good fit for you? And did you feel any pressure from anyone to like stay in state or not? Or were you encouraged? Lauren?
So funny story with that. So I knew that I definitely wanted to do biomedical engineering. I had actually the movie Bicentennial Man, which is one of Robin Williams' probably lesser known movies. I really, really, really wanted to do biomedical engineering. There was also other programs that I got into that weren't specifically biomedical engineering, but more engineering. And the idea that I was like, I'm a class salutatorian or whatever. And I remember my guidance counselor met with us, and we're going through it, and they were like, well, I got all these programs and whatever. I got into Ivy League schools and schools in like BC and BU and whatever. And when I told them I picked Stony Brook, they were shocked and thought it was kind of a poor decision on my part to say no to all these schools that are fabulous schools, but were not the right fit for me. And I knew that I wanted to do some kind of graduate school. I didn't know for sure if it was going to be as a physician or a PhD or something. And the feel was just right. Like I recently bought a house. It's a very similar feeling. And then you walk on campus or a new house. Campus is actually probably a lot cheaper. And it just feels right. Like it just feel like the atmosphere that, as aggravating as the construction always is, there's always construction going on here. And that's a good sign that things are new. We're not saying, oh, I've done it this way for 200 years. Let's keep doing it that way. Like we're not going to do that. That there's a constant sentiment of change and being better and making ourselves better and adapting. And it was just the most spectacular feeling. I drove down, it was a poor decision on my part, without a question, but I drove down in my Volvo 850 from Plymouth to Stony Brook, walked around, met Amanda in person, and then drove back. Got super duper lost because we didn't really have GPS. It was a MapQuest, and I'm not very good at reversing MapQuest directions, as it turns out. Got really lost around the old Yankee Stadium. Eventually made my way back to Plymouth around 4 a.m. and I'm sure gave my mother a heart attack in the process. But it was just the right feel. And the opportunities here are tremendous if you're willing to put some energy into finding them. Nothing's going to be handed to you. That's a life lesson right there. But if you're willing to look for opportunities and find them and take advantage of them, it's incredible. And it, honest to God, is the best value you will ever get for an education, especially if you're thinking that you're going to be going and doing graduate school or something like that, that there is not a single doubt in my mind that it was by far the best decision. There is no regret in any way. And I couldn't have been delighted to turn down what people believe to be really prestigious schools based on name for a school that it was just the absolute perfect fit. And being okay with saying, yeah, that's great. Because you know what? At this point, out of residency, I don't have any educational debt whatsoever. And that's a pretty impressive feeling, and knowing that, you're putting a lot of money into your education, so you want to get value for it. And you can't beat Stony Brook, quite frankly. And I wasn't paid to say any of that also, just
That's a fair point.
Yeah, like I just, it's awesome. It's a great place. So whatever is going to make your heart happy and matches your soul, that's where you go. And listen to whatever your intuition's telling you, that if it feels right, that's where you should be. And if it's not Stony Brook, then you don't want to be here and be miserable for 4 years. But pick where it feels like home, where you can see yourself, where you feel comfortable. And you'll know that feeling.
And Viola?
Yeah, also like Lauren, I got into a bunch of schools like BU, BC, NYU, places like that. For me, it really came down to the financials, played a huge aspect of it. Waterbury is a very diverse inner city. So I knew I had to kind of narrow down my options. Probably was going to end up going to a state school, but I did not want to go to UConn. UConn would be way too big of a campus for me. So spread out, it's in the middle of nowhere. And I knew that was not what I wanted. I wanted to be around people. I wanted to have access to go off campus and have things to do. So that played a huge role. But yeah, Stony Brook gave me great financial aid, even though I was out of state, which was a huge help. And also, they were the only school that made me feel like they really wanted me to go there. Whereas every other school I got accepted to was almost had an air of, oh, you're lucky to just be accepted by us kind of thing. Whereas before I even committed to Stony Brook, I got to have a Zoom call with the Dean of Journalism, and she already had my resume pulled up and my awards from, high school, and was asking me about it and was asking me what I wanted to do at Stony Brook, already making a path for me. And I didn't even commit yet. So I just thought that spoke volumes. It was also during COVID when I was applying to school. So I didn't really get to go on a ton of tours. But again, Stony Brook made accommodations, and I was able to come down for a personal tour with my parents, which again was a huge help. And same thing, as soon as I stepped on the campus walking around, I knew that it just felt like home and it felt right for me. So I'm so happy with the way it worked out. Again, I thought my dream schools would be elsewhere in big cities, but I could not have been more grateful for the opportunities I've had here, again, because it is a small program that I'm in and everything is so individualized and tailored. I've had amazing internship opportunities that I don't know that I would have had at other places, where here I feel like the professors know me, the dean knows me, and I can actually stand out as a student, and I'm not just a number here.
Perfect. Thank you. So a big, I think, kind of factor when I think back about when I was in college, which was a long time ago, is sometimes you have kind of one really like fond memory or a memory of a time that was either fun or exciting or life changing. Do either of you, starting with Lauren, have something like that that you'd like to talk about?
So we became the habit. There was a group of us from out of state that kind of all banded together, and we ended up creating all of these clubs. One of these clubs was largely based on the fact that we really wanted to watch Patriots games, and it was almost impossible to do it. So in order to do that, we formed out of state club. And then, because that's not enough, a couple of us had been sailing and been involved with aquatics or whatever in high school and really missed it. So we ended up creating a sailing team, which is amazing to watch grow and exist and everything. And it was a bit of a predicament because we had no money and you can't just, boats don't just appear. So we concocted a whole bunch of schemes, plans, and everything else, some which involved like recycling beer cans and like, how are we going to wash boats and with the hose. I mean, it was this whole elaborate plan. And took it just about, I don't know, maybe a month before I graduated. We finally acquired boats after like begging and pleading with the government, the student government, to give us money and fundraising and whatever else, and campaigning to let us be part of their almost like the NCAA alternative kind of thing for sailing. And literally like April, I don't know, by April 4th, with tax day, basically, one of the last weeks of this semester before our finals started, we finally got the boats and we finally got out in the water, and it was the most awesome feeling ever. We actually had New York maritime sails because we couldn't afford our own, so we got hand-me-down sails. And it was so much fun that it took, almost a year, almost 2 years to get the whole thing up and running, and then to get like insurance and everything like that. But it was amazing to get to see that and feel the sense of like complete ragtag of how are we going to accomplish this? And everything would hit plan N or O or so. But every time we tried to do something, there's always people cheering us along of like, all right, we'll try this. Well, what about this? How about this? Did you think about this? Of like, if you want to see something and you want to create something new, you can absolutely do it at Stony Brook. As you're looking through the pages about clubs and sports and programs or whatever, if there's something that's missing that is meaningful to you, you're willing to put the work in, you can make it happen. We want to be doing new things at the Brook. And so it's fun to get to see these guys. They went and sailed in Hawaii this past winter, and now have multiple sets of sails and beautiful sailboats that there's almost no awareness of where we came from back in the day of how are we possibly going to get boats that might have holes in them kind of thing, which end up become planters and less actually like, watercraft of scenarios. But that's the atmosphere of, if you want to leave your impression, you can, and that we want to be doing new and exciting things. And if you don't know how to sail, you should come to Stony Brook and learn how to sail, because it's a lot of fun. A little chilly, but fun nonetheless.
That's awesome. So we'll jump to Viola for the same answer, and then we'll get to introduce Jackie in a second. Thanks.
I don't know if there's one specific one that I have in mind, but I would say overall, any night that we are editing in the newsroom. So our newsroom, journalism students have access 24/7. So we will be in there at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, just a band of us working on projects and working on a deadline, putting things together. And the same thing at the Statesman if we're trying to get a print edition out and a print issue out. And in the moment, it's a little rough. It's not always the most fun. It gets to, 2:33 in the morning. We're a little crabby, but overall, the entire process and the entire feeling when we're walking away and we have this finished product, and, it's a band of us really working together to make something that we're so passionate and proud of. It's kind of like that just feels like the epitome of college. You find your people, you find your group, and you're all doing what you came here to do and watching it happen. And those late night hours, I mean, that's just typical college thing. So those are my favorites. favorite. They're rough, but they are fun.
Awesome. Hi, Jackie. Thank you so much for being here. Could you tell our audience a little bit about your background and your journey to Stony Brook?
Okay, so as an overall introduction, hello everyone, my name is Jackie. Back at least at Stony Brook, I graduated May of 2021. So fairly recent, close after the pandemic. I graduated with a Bachelor's of Arts in Psychology, but with minors in both computer science along with digital arts. And currently with what I have done now, I also recently graduated from my master's program at, as you can tell, the University of Maryland, College Park, with a master's in human computer interaction. And I currently work as an academic success coordinator. So I coordinate any kind of tutorial services for first generation students, low income, along with underrepresented minority students. So that's where my background comes from. Oh, Amanda, I can't hear you, by the way.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about, Jackie, if you think about your journey from high school to Stony Brook and what that was like for you, like how did you find Stony Brook, and were there a lot of students you knew that were deciding to also go to Stony Brook, or were you kind of a pioneer amongst your peers? What was that journey like?
Yeah. So for me, when I was applying to schools, I applied to around like 10 to 11 different universities. And out of those 10 to 11, of course, you have your mix of Ivy Leagues, you have a mix of state schools. I came from New Jersey, so I did things like Monmouth University, Rutgers University, and only a couple from New York. And I was more open to applying within New York just because my parents are, at the end of the day, New Yorkers that just so happened to live in New Jersey for a little bit. So out of the New York schools, I applied to SUNY Stony Brook, since I only figured it out much later on that almost every uncle or aunt or someone else that I knew did go to Stony Brook, and they're like, oh, back in my day, we did not have the union. I haven't heard of East Side dining in the food. It sounds amazing. So when I ended up applying and figuring that out through like the tour, talking to friends and family about it, it sort of set the tone of how the university has changed within the past 10 to 15 years, the introduction of all these new resources on campus that wasn't there and are very honed in on focusing on the student needs, not just academically speaking on the research end, but how much they see the students for who they are as people. I'm so sorry, my cat, I don't know if it's picking it up, but it's trying to get into the frame. But the way that they care about their students is pretty evident just by having, let's say, an app for laundry or an app for tracking where the shuttle is, so that way you're not spending time there in 15 minutes or so. So that's pretty much what sealed the deal with me. And my cat did end up in the frame. So I hope that answered your question.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. um, uh, for each of you, and we can start with Lauren again, was there a specific kind of practical experience, whether it was, research, internship, study abroad, or something along the lines of kind of real world resume building experience that was really impactful, either in you helping you figure out what your next step was going to be after Stony Brook, or just, to kind of solidify your career goals and interests?
Yeah, so I kind of talking about the research interests and everything, and I think it's also important to point out that research at Stony Brook isn't necessarily just benchtop research. There's a ton of research when I think about research and scholarship, in fine arts, in all sorts of different things. It's not necessarily just counting cells in a petri dish, which was my first bit of research. And I learned I don't like that kind of research at all. And that's also really important. Like, it's just as important to have constructive experiences that you say, this is not for me, kind of thing, and feel comfortable either walking away or finishing a project and then finding something different. And learning how to do that and do that gracefully is a really, really important adulting skill. That, the first time you do something isn't highly unlikely to be successful the first time, and learning from that. What I did get to learn, though, during the benchtop research, I got an incredible mentor, who was my person of Dr. Clark. He was just amazing, in that, he would help me with pick my courses and knew I probably want to go to med school. It was just a great mentor, even though what ended up being his specific type of research just wasn't quite my jam. But I learned how to write, and I learned how to revise papers. I learned the process of the scientific method and what that means. I learned that it's a game for the most part, that you're going to get rejection notices, and it has nothing to do with the quality of your work necessarily. It very well might be the mood of the person reviewing the paper. But learning how to kind of roll with the punches and go through the process and appreciate how to write and take constructive feedback and move forward with that was one of the most important skills I learned at Stony Brook. And then going through and learning how to write a resume and how to structure things like that and really maximize on the energy that you're putting in, right? That time and energy are the most precious commodities that we have. Some people say money, no, it's time. There's no way you can adjust the amount of time that you have. And so you really want to make sure that you capitalize and maximize the productivity based on whatever time you're investing in things. And learning how to do that with research, and that if it's not just one specific mentor at Stony Brook, there's an amazing resource in the Career Center that is incredible about how to build resumes and how to write and showcase yourself, because that's kind of weird to like talk about yourself and brag. But there's ways to do it, and you should, because if you're putting the time and energy in, you should be excited about that and get to share that, and use that as a stepping stone. So if you, again, take advantage of the opportunities that are here, the academic development is amazing, and there's no shortage of opportunities. You just have to actually be willing to put the energy into really take advantage of everything that's available. There's also, different types of writing processes. I mean, between the newspaper, I remember I wrote like a creative writing piece in one of my English classes and went published, submitted it to the newspaper. So that's another citation. Like there's ways of really taking advantage of that feeling that it's a small university with tremendous opportunities.
And Viola, same question.
Yeah. So for me, it was by far the internships that I got from my time here at Stony Brook. I thought that I wanted to go into print journalism. I am the editor-in-chief of the newspaper, so I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. My first internship that I had during my time here at Stony Brook was with a small local newspaper on the North Fork, the Times Review Media Group. So I interned with them for a summer, and I absolutely loved it. I got some great bylines. I won an Investigative Hearst Award for a story I wrote there. So it was a great opportunity with local connections. And I thought I was set in love with it. But the following year, I had an internship with NBC Nightly News in New York with Lester Holt. This is very different. So now we're going to broadcast, and it's a national market. It's not local news anymore. It was just entirely different. And I kind of went into it with the expectation of, oh, I'm not going to like this. I'm going to do this to make sure that I love doing print. And I absolutely fell in love with it. I love the team. I love NBC. I love the producers there and all the people I met. During my time there, I met a bunch of producers from Dateline who encouraged me to try more long form investigative work. And now I'm an intern at Dateline, and I've been an intern with them for all of this year so far, and I will be until graduation. So I really found my place there at NBC, but I wouldn't have done it without that first local start, because that really gave me, the clips and the bylines that I needed to put myself at a level to compete for such a high internship at NBC. So that definitely changed my career path for sure. And I'm planning on going into broadcast when I graduate in May. So I'm currently applying for their News Associates program, and then also will be applying for full-time positions over the summer.
That's exciting. Don't forget about us. You can always do the panel again next year, Viola. Jackie, same question. Anything that kind of stands out for you from your time at Stony Brook?
Yeah. So when I was at Stony Brook, I was introduced to a lot of mentorship opportunities very early on. So I was part of the Women in Science and Engineering program where we had our mentor. So it's more open to looking for similar experiences on campus. So I found something as well through the Career Center. They have these different career communities which is just general genres for what you will want to do professionally, like arts and communication, business, so on and so forth. I ended up choosing something that was a little out of my wheelhouse, but I was interested in research, so I chose applied science and research, got paired up with someone through biological sciences, which was very different from my own trajectory. When I came into Stony Brook, I came in as a computer science major directly. So I couldn't really see the link between our fields, but one of the main takeaways that she gave me, and something that I like to tell everyone else, is when you're trying to figure out your major, what you're trying to figure out after college, it's less so about the field itself, it's more so about what your core values are and how that aligns with whatever profession you end up choosing. So we ended up connecting more on a research level, where it's like, okay, let's see what you have available on campus, what labs are you interested in, on what kind of findings that they're producing. So I ended up joining 2 labs while I was at Stony Brook. The first one being the ICOG lab, where we do a lot of eye tracking research. It got put on hold due to the pandemic, but it at least opened me up in regards to what you can do with a computer science degree or a programming background, where it's not just software engineering. That's how I figured out human computer interaction exists, where it combines computer science, it combines psychology, it combines design. So there's a way to still have that kind of human element and still have those kinds of conversations that make work more, I guess, enjoyable or worthwhile, while still having everything that I enjoyed from my comp sci background. So that was one of the main things that pretty much changed, well, not only my major, but how I approached all the new experiences that came after that.
Fascinating to hear all of this, because all of your experiences are very different, but there's like a thread tying them all together, which is the Stony Brook opportunity. And we have a couple of questions that came in the Q&A that I do want to jump to, because I think they're really good at kind of exemplifying the fact that there is no one experience at Stony Brook, that every individual, all 18,000 undergraduate students right now at Stony Brook, are having different experiences and have different access to opportunities based on what they're willing to do to get them and how they're willing to put themselves out there, which all 3 of you definitely clearly exemplify in your experiences. But the one question that I think we get a lot, especially even, I mean, I've been at Stony Brook for 20 years, and this was a question that was very common 20 years ago. We still get it now. There's almost like a kind of deep-seated myth that Stony Brook is a big, inapproachable place. And I know I haven't found that to be the case. And I haven't talked to everyone at Stony Brook, but I feel like the majority of the people I talk to, that is also not their experience. So we're not really sure how this continues to be out there. My guess is that there are students who maybe don't fit in and then leave, and so their experience wasn't great and they didn't give it time to get the opportunities and find the support. And so, it may just be that it's, those people's experiences that are shouting louder than yours. But the question is a concern that I've seen pretty often online, which makes me think that the 3 of you need to start posting online about your experiences, is that Stony Brook is a big school, has a big campus, and a big student population, and that people feel they're lost in the crowd, find it hard to connect socially, whether with faculty, staff, or fellow students. And then they go on to say that they're sure this is partly dependent on the program they're in, or perhaps their own temperament of the individual. But is it true at all or indicative of the experiences that the panelists have had or people you know? And if so, can students themselves alleviate the problem if it arises? And is the school setting about rectifying it at all? Again, I don't think this is really a true representation of the student experience at Stony Brook. So I'll let Lauren start as an alum who has now also worked with students at Stony Brook.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to Viola and Jackie for comment.
If you choose to sit in your dorm room all night and all day, then you're not going to have a great experience. I mean, like if you, having said that, if you also don't necessarily really want to interact with a lot of people, some people don't really want to interact with people, that's totally fine. I certainly have days that if I don't see another human, I'm totally cool with that. But like if you sit in your room and think that the world's coming to you, that's probably not going to happen. And that's probably not going to happen, not just at Stony Brook, but like anywhere you go. And it also takes time. That there is absolutely a transition in so many ways to college life. It's like a pair of sneakers. They're just not going to be comfortable at first. You got to break them in. It takes time to find your people and see what else is out there. If you're coming into a giant major that has a ton of people, yeah, it's probably going to take you a little bit more energy to find your group, find your tribe. But it's there. It's finding, a club. It's finding an interest group. It's finding a sport, something. But there's like inertia. You need to actually put something into it for the universe to, give you something in return. And yes, it's a large campus in a sense, but it's one campus. Like it actually feels like a campus. It's a metropolis of sorts. Even if you look at the hospital building and everything lit up at night. I mean, it's a little city, literally, with everything here. So you're self-contained. I think one of the other gripes people have is that some people feel it's a commuter school. I lived here. I did not go back to Massachusetts. I mean, I was here for holidays, summers, everything. I think some of the most beautiful time of the year is during the summer at Stony Brook. The gardens are and the fountains and everything are just spectacular. If you choose that you're just going to go to class all day and then go home, then yeah, you're probably gonna have a different experience. Sometimes that's what people need. And that's that matches what they need in their life at that point, is that you do need to be home because you have other responsibilities, or it's cheaper and more reasonable for you to live at home and commute or something like that. But if you're on campus and making an effort, yes, there's a lot of people, but that's also not a bad thing. That means that you have opportunities to have different thoughts and challenge your thinking. And that's kind of the point of college. But no, I can tell you as faculty, and I teach multiple courses for engineering. I teach multiple courses, the hospital side for med students and graduate students. If you want to be involved and you want to know your faculty, there's no barrier whatsoever. It's again on you to be an adult, no matter where you are at Stony Brook or any other college you're going to pick. It's there. It's yours for the taking. You just have to go for it,
Viola.
Yeah, I mean, I think Lauren said it perfectly, is you really have to make the effort to put yourself out there if that's something that you're worried about. If you don't try to talk to anybody, if you don't try to get involved and actively try to find your people, then you might not. But it's even, I think, freshman year when you're coming in, it was helpful for me to realize that everybody else was in the same boat. All the people that I was living with, none of us knew each other. None of us had a friend that we went to high school or middle school with that we could talk to. And I, especially being friends with out-of-state students, they all felt that way, or they maybe not had a lot of people who came to the school that they knew before. So definitely big thing is putting yourself out there. Great thing about Stony Brook that I love is when you come in as a freshman, you have your orientation week. It's not kind of like a weekend or just a day. You're here for an entire week early, or at least I was. So you really get to meet other people, and that's what you're there for, is to meet people, and you just make friends. And hey, do you want to grab a lunch after class? Or hey, did you do the homework last night? It's the little things like that that can turn into friendships. Or if they don't turn into friendships, that is okay. you tried and you did your best with it. Another great thing is the involvement fairs where all the clubs table. I definitely recommend going to those. That's how I got involved at both the Statesman and the Blood Drive. And I now run both of those clubs. And I found that on my second day here at Stony Brook with that involvement fair. And I just saw it was something I was interested in. I talked to some people, realized, oh, this could be something that I could really be passionate about and I might enjoy doing. And I met a bunch of friends through that. And those are the people that I've tended to be closest to because I know we have similar interests and I know we have shared passions and we have those things in common. So yeah, I think a big part of it is making the effort to put yourself out there, and especially with professors too, taking the initiative to approach them and to ask the questions. And you might feel a little awkward at first. It's totally okay. They also know that you're a freshman coming to college, so you're not going to be talking to them the same way they have a relationship with other students or with the TA or something. Everyone is in the same boat that you are. And I think that's what helped me be most comfortable with that awkward, oh, well, that person's a stranger, but I'm still going to talk to them. Because I know exactly what I'm trying to do. And maybe they'll appreciate it, maybe they won't, but at least I tried.
Yeah, that's a good point that you both brought up. And also that's what you then have to do if you're on a research team or in an internship or in a job. It's just where that starts. It never ends. And there's always that awkwardness in the beginning. And there's always that kind of time of discovery. Jackie, anything to add as a former tour guide?
Yeah. So how do I put it? When Stony Brook is described as a big university, right? It's not like the expectation that you're making friends and you're connecting with each and every person. The point of having a very big university is so you have a greater volume or greater diversity in not only the resources, but the kinds of people that you're able to meet. And because of that, you're able to find these little pockets of communities everywhere across campus, whether you want an academic, whether you want fraternities, whether you want it as like a job or a club. There's so many opportunities where you could find your pocket of people, where I think that's probably one of the more beautiful things about Stony Brook. When I came in, I already had one from the get-go with the WISE honors program, right? So there was a bunch of people already making group chats. People already knew each other's names through that group chat before you even got to campus, right? So you at least have a couple of other people to clutch onto and like, hello, I'm the only person from my high school because I came from central New Jersey. No one knew what Stony Brook was. Please, someone talk to me within this first week so I can navigate not only my classes, but being by myself for the first time or going to the residential hall for the first time. And through the people that I was clutching my way through university with, they were a bit more outgoing and were like, hey, Jackie, come with me to this other event that was pretty much to introduce freshman students to the university in general. It was like a little scavenger hunt, but more coding minded with that particular club hosting it. So I met people that I'm still talking to this day in 2024, back when I started in 2018. And what I like most about it, you're not tied to only being connected to those within your majors. Since the majority of us are changing our majors every 2 seconds during freshman along with sophomore year, trying to figure out what we want to do in the future. Having a good variety of other folk that are doing, let's say, a linguistics major or an applied math major, things that aren't in your wheelhouse, but you could have much more interesting conversations because of that. That's something that I've been able to enjoy with Stony Brook, and going outside your comfort zone and being able to take more initiative, like everyone else is saying, is an important part of that, just because unfortunately not everyone's going to have another friend with you that will do all that kind of hand holding that I was grateful for. Like joining the tour guide, like as a campus tour guide, because I wanted a job on campus. I'm like, okay, this is out of my wheelhouse, but this seems like a good opportunity. And everyone was pretty close knit throughout the entire 3 to 4 years that I was on campus for. And that's how I was able to get introduced to a lot of new folks that I wouldn't have seen from just my own residential hall. So, yeah.
Thank you all. That was great. So this is another question that the answer to doesn't exist. Everyone always wants to know what a typical day, not just for a pre-med student majoring in biology living on campus looks like, but in general. There's no again, all 18,000 undergrads have a different day, unless they somehow have the same schedule or part of the same clubs and eat in the same location. But in that vein of, what a typical day is like, are there things that were kind of common to your experience briefly, because you believe it or not, it's already 7:43, which is blowing my mind. But we do have a couple questions to get to. So is there anything that, that you could answer this to make it more reassuring about the typical day?
Yeah, so your typical day is what you choose to make your typical day, right? So if you don't like getting up in the morning, then you can schedule your classes for mostly evenings. Or if you really love getting up and seeing, the sunrise, which I'm not sure there's many college students that do, but if that's what you like, you can schedule them in the morning. Or if you just want to do half days, you could schedule, depending upon what your major is and when it is. Like for example, I worked full time during college as a paramedic, so I stacked my classes as much as I could on Tuesday, Thursday schedules. And they were really long days, but that meant I had like 4 or 5 other days that I could work or be in a lab or something like that. So that worked for me. But you got to know what works for you, like duration of sitting in a lecture hall, which I guess probably there's not that many people in lecture halls at this at this point. I was in a lecture hall. I like lectures. I like being in person. I like getting my full experience kind of thing. But it's whatever you choose it to be. So if you're commuting or whatever, or you are doing an internship in the evening, there's a ton of flexibility. That is a plus to having a large campus and a large student body, is that there's a lot of flexibility. I mean, in most classes, yes, there's some that you're going to have to bend your own schedule to take the course if you want to take the course. But there's a ton of flexibility in that whatever's going to allow you to be most successful, you just need to find that schedule and see what that works out for you, which might involve some trial and error. But if it's not 7 to 3 every day, then pick something different. There, you can take evenings. So it's hard to know. I don't think there is a single consistent day in life. Even if somebody, when I was in BME, I mean, that's a very specific, very rigid course sequence, and we all had different adventures. It may meet up for lunch or something, but beyond that, it's what you're going to get out of it as an individual, and find meaningful.
Viola?
Yeah, I think the flexibility is definitely a great point, because I personally have had two very different type of schedules here at Stony Brook. I have never had a Monday class, which I'm very proud of. So I did schedule it that way. So I've never had a class on Monday, which I was very adamant about when I first came to college. So I've always enjoyed the 3-day weekend, but my first 2 years, I am graduating a year early. So the first 2 years, I really had to put pedal to the metal, and I was taking 19, sometimes 21 credits, really packing my schedule while also getting involved in these clubs. So it got to a point, I want to say last year, where I was working in the city 2 days a week. I had 19 credits and I was running 2 clubs. And it was a lot. I was busy from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed, and it was definitely exhausting. I thrive on that. I love the adrenaline. I love that feeling of getting a lot accomplished and seeing how much I can do and really pushing myself. Whether or not it's the best way to go about it, that's a different story. But because I was doing that for so long, by the time I got to my senior semester here, I realized I only have about like 4 classes that I really need to take. So this semester is completely different. I only have 12 credits, which is very weird. And I have a lot of free time on my hands because I know I'm graduating soon. So I have to let other people kind of take the reins on things and start learning how to do the roles that I was once filling. And so now that I have this free time on my hands, or a more lax schedule than I did before, I take opportunities that we have at the rec, and I'm working out a bunch, or I'm meeting new people on campus and making new friends, even though it's my last semester, and being more social in that way, and taking advantage of, we have a new club hub down in the Union, which is really cool. It's just a hangout space where, you play foosball or skee ball and video games, things like that. I've actually been hanging out there, which is something I never did for the past couple of years. So I definitely have seen both sides of it, but I love that Stony Brook has allowed me to see both sides of it, where, if you are feeling too stressed, or your schedule's too packed, you can make adjustments for the next semester, or vice versa. If you're thinking, wow, I had some free time on my hands and there are these extra things that I want to do, see if you could fit them into your schedule. So yeah, I really love that there is a spectrum of what you can fill your time with and how you can fill your time with those classes and work experiences.
Thank you. And Jackie?
Yeah. So I think Lauren, along with Viola, said a lot of what I was going to get at. So at least the transition from high school into college, right? For most people, depending on what state you are, what, like 7 up until 2 p.m. and then you have clubs between 2 to 4. It's very, you don't have that much freedom to change things, so you have the flexibility, but also you are able to take more initiative over how you want those 4 years to look like, right? So when you eventually do get your schedule, I think the first thing you'll experience is, wow, if I'm taking 12 credits, I have a lot of free time between Monday to Friday to do anything I could potentially want. So that could be either very intimidating or very liberating. It just depends on how you want to use that time. If you want just take the day to day, but I was very much still on a more structured, rigid mindset. So I got very involved in a lot of part-time jobs on campus, whether it be as a skills-based tutor. Skills-based tutor is through the ASTS, Academic Success, and tutoring services, tutoring center on campus, where they do like time management, things that aren't just academic resources. Wanted to quickly plug it because it's a great resource. And on the other hand, making sure that you're spending time with people or making that part of your schedule. So my favorite moments on campus were more of the downtime, always Tuesdays at 1 p.m. until 2 p.m. in between the classes or in between work shifts at this point, of just sitting down with 2 friends within the Wong Center, because they have Jasmine, which is one of the restaurants on campus that you could use your dining dollars at, just to get like a little poke bowl and watch as other tours or my coworkers waving hi as they're doing their due diligence, and I'm just chilling for a little bit. And depending on if the weather is nice out, being able to spend the time outside in the Zen garden. So it really is what you make out of it, but that first semester will be a big adjustment on how to use that time wisely or in a way that makes you happy, I guess.
Perfect. It's as I'm listening to each of you give your perspectives, it reminds me that there's no way we could fully answer all of these questions to the extent that opportunities exist, because there's so much and so much depth in what Stony Brook can offer students. We could never do that in an hour. It would be impossible. It takes really a full year at Stony Brook to even start to kind of figure out, like, oh wow, look, I could do this, I have this opportunity, I have this resource, and it just builds and builds. And I think that's one of the most exciting pieces of this. We have a question that's specifically for Viola, which I don't know, I'm kind of confused about, but they're asking the meaning behind Stony Brook's logo and colors. I mean, I think, I don't know if there's a specific meaning behind the logo and colors other than Stony Brook University, the shield, and then that we're the Seawolves, which is the Seawolf is the Stony Brook mascot, and the Seawolves are the Stony Brook Division I athletic teams. If there's anything else from a statesman perspective that you could add about the color and logos? Probably not, right?
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. I haven't been here that long, so I don't really know where that stems from.
I have a
Lauren,
random
do you
sample
know?
fact. Yes. I mean, so
Perfect.
from what I understand, as the lore goes, the logo that's before the shield, which was largely because everybody got a shield at that point, in all the places, the stars and everything that comes from not the first Stony Brook logo, but the one that it's a circle. There's 3 circles. There's red, I think blue and green. And those are like the brook or something, like the actual water running or something like that. Well, that logo is the same person who came up with the original I Heart New York logo. As admissions pamphlets, I think, go from whatever. And it's like that's cool. And then we changed it. They changed it the year I graduated. I was really excited to have the Stony Brook logo on my diploma. And they
You're
changed
right.
it.
It was Milton Glaser was the original
Yes, exactly.
That's like
Exactly.
such a dated reference. I forget all the time that that was the original Stony Brook logo.
Yep.
But yeah, but and how we became Wolfie, I also don't
Yeah, I have no idea where the Wolfie
know.
thing came from. Yeah.
But vote for Wolfie in SUNY Mascot Madness, which is the SUNY mascot version of the, March Madness. um, Now we, for some reason, only have like very little amount of time left. So could you each touch on we have a question about extracurricular activities, the SB Engaged platform. I guess not everybody has updated their club information there as well as maybe they should. But what do you feel are the best ways besides on campus club and club fairs to get involved?
I'm gonna
Lauren.
pass on that one. Yeah, the only reason from a faculty perspective, just going to faculty office hours and seeing what's going on, like just being present. And if you're not able to physically be present, emails or something like that, again, it's your intention, but I'm not really super up on the whatever these other things are. At some point, let the youngins do it.
Viola,
Yeah,
Jackie.
I have a better idea than I do.
Yeah, so SB Engage, if there aren't some clubs that are on the platform, they should be. Because if you're a recognized club in Stony Brook, then you should have an SB Engaged page where you keep everything updated. I will say with keeping it updated and posting everything, that is entirely student run. It's not people who are paid to keep it updated. So it might be the secretary of a club who is very stressed, or maybe the president of a blood drive committee who just simply forgot to upload that there was a general body meeting that week. And I then have to send out a frantic email. It's like, I'm so sorry that I forgot to upload it this week. Please come anyways. So that is a reason why it might not be updated. One thing that I suggest is if you don't see a club that has active events on SB Engage, their email should be there. Definitely email them. Definitely reach out to them. Also look at their social medias. They might be more active on their social media than they are on SB Engage. I know even at the Statesman, we don't really host events, and our meetings are very weird. We have, like 10 meetings a week at the Statesman because we are so big. We have so many different sections that we work a little differently. So the best way, to get in contact with things like that is to send us an email and to just ask us the questions about it. That's the best that I can offer on that. Definitely the campus calendar of events though is always a great place to look. There's always things going on campus, and we have an app called Quark, and that's how you sign in to different campus events. If you look on Quark, it'll give you a list of all of the events that are going on straight from SB Engage. So you don't necessarily have to go on the website to look. You can get it on your phone, and you can go through and you can RSVP, you can sign up for stuff. And again, if that's for things that are student run, if there are other things you want to join, I just look on the calendar of events. I especially do it when I'm looking for news pitches and packages. I always go on the Stony Brook News calendar of events and look at what the university itself is hosting. So those are a couple different places that you can look.
Just gonna jump in on what Viola said with Cork. I'm sorry, I'm straying away from SB Gauge for a bit, but with Cork, if I recall from a while ago, they have this little feature on the app itself where it's like, okay, this is the event, but has little tags or icons to note, hey, there's free food here. So in case that is your cup of tea and you want to diversify what you're eating on a day-to-day basis, rather than just going to East Side Dining or West Side Dining each day, that's something that could change things up and something that most of my friends were actively looking for. But for me, in regards to club engagement, I was more interested in the other like professional opportunities that I got as a tour guide, tutor, eventually a wise mentor as well, research. But I did like to keep up to date with some of the clubs on campus, specifically Women in Computer Science, known as WICS. So the way that you do that is from that involvement fair, giving out emails. Be careful who you're giving out your emails, because the last thing you want to do is get accidentally put onto 15 club newsletters, because that means you're not reading any of them. So if you do end up going to an involvement fair, be very intentional about who you're giving your school email to. Of course, you could opt out, but I think at least to make things a bit more manageable for yourself within that first month, knowing which ones you want to keep up with along with their events. They typically have one major event per month. And I recall during my first year, a couple of the ones that really sparked out to me were not just free food, but free activities where it's like, oh, make your own quirky little whiteboard. I'm like, cool, that sounds like a lot of fun. And that means I get to take something home with me at the end of the day. So making sure not only you have signed up, but actively searching through them just to see what kind of personality that club has, what they have to offer, where you don't have to be 100% committed, where you plan to be the president and whatnot. It could just be you see something that you like, just stop by. That kind of participation is usually how I ran.
That's great advice, definitely. So in our final moments, which makes me so sad, starting with Lauren, if you could just tell us your favorite thing that you get to do now that you've graduated, you've gone on to do amazing things. What's the highlight now?
Man, that's a hard one. The highlight is like I get to share my story. Like I am so proud to get to be at Stony Brook and to get to have had the spectacular experiences and the people. You can't beat the people. It is a good group of humans that want to see you thrive, not just as a student, but as a person. And that is so important in a crazy world, to have people that truly care about you, and it's not made like it's genuine and it's authentic and it's very real. And that is a very special thing to have, especially as an out-of-state student, that you have a safety net, that you have people that are going to get you, because you're going to have a bad day at some point. So who's going to be there, kind of thing. And it's a very real sense of belonging and in existence, that it's great. And that's why I have actively chosen to stay at Stony Brook with multiple opportunities to go other places, that this is home, and I couldn't be more proud to be here.
You're gonna make me cry.
I know, it's so true though.
Viola, as you kind of approach graduation in senior year, anything that kind of final words for our audience?
Yeah, I guess just that I could not be more grateful for the opportunities that Stony Brook has given me. My program is a little different. They don't want us to stick around. They want to kick us out, and they want us to go out into the world and do great big things. But one of my favorite parts and that I'm looking forward to is I didn't realize how many Stony Brook alumni from our journalism program are doing such amazing things. I met a producer at Dateline. We just started talking and he said, "Where do you go to school?" And I said, "I go to Stony Brook." He said, "Oh, I was the undergraduate student president in 1991. And I was like, "Oh, okay." I didn't know that. And so it's just like things like that. And from there, I mean, he helped me get the internship that I have today. So I think that especially for the program that I'm in, the Stony Brook alumni community is so tight knit and it's so strong. And also I know we're wrapping up, but one of my other favorite stories is I was walking on a hike upstate randomly and I had an old Statesman t-shirt on. So it was like from the early 2000s. It was our old design. And as I'm walking on this hike, this lady walked by me and she looked at me and she said, "What's a sea wolf?" And I was like, "Oh my goodness, she knows." I said, "I'm a sea wolf," because that's our motto here. Like our slogan is, "What's a sea wolf? I'm a sea wolf." And so just like little things like that she recognized the Statesman's logo from when she went to school 20 years ago. And she was able to, call that back and remember that. Just the little things like that I'm looking forward to and getting able to like share with other people and be a part of that alumni community.
That is a great story. Oh, wonderful. Jackie, final.
Okay. So I think after graduating, of course, undergrad along with master's, the main thing that's been the most fulfilling was just seeing how much everything that I've done undergraduate wise for all the coursework that I've done, how it really connects to the work that I do today. Because the majority of what I do is very student oriented, and how to go about making sure that they are studying or learning in a way where they're able to take that and apply it later on, right? Because the majority of students very early on they cram a lot. So how do you help students navigate how to distribute their time for studying throughout the entire semester to prepare for a cumulative exam? Or how do you convince them that reading or highlighting is not the most effective strategy that they should be using and implementing for their classes if they plan on using it in the internship in the summer? So it's been a lot of seeing sometimes when I had like more down moments during the semester where I'm not paying enough attention, and then realizing 3 to 5 years later, I'm like, I think I'm gonna go into my old syllabi, check up that textbook from way back when, double check because I know what I'm talking about. I just cannot remember the keyword. That's been one of the more fulfilling things that I've learned from Stony Brook, where it's like even the classes that I didn't expect, like, oh, I'm maybe just taking this to make sure that I'm graduating on time. You don't really expect to want to take all of that information, even the ones that weren't part of your major, and how much it can dramatically affect the kinds of conversations that you do or the kinds of new ideas that you could bring to the table.
Well, I'm sad to say that we've come to the end of our panel. I feel like I could talk to all of you for hours. It was learned so much from each of you. I'm so proud of all of you and your vastly different experiences, but the similar threads between your stories. And we are so lucky at Stony Brook that you chose us. We definitely wanted you all, but ultimately for our audience, it is your decision if you want to join the Stony Brook family, be able to say, I'm a sea wolf. And we certainly hope to see you on campus either this spring at one of our admitted student events. And of course, fingers crossed, hopefully in August for Welcome Week. Welcome Week 2024 will be posted in the next few weeks. So you'll be able to get a glimpse into what Welcome Week is all about. Thank you, Viola. Congratulations on your senior year and graduation. Thank you, Dr. Maloney. Thank you, Jackie, so much for taking your time tonight. And I will, wish you all the best of luck. Keep in touch and have a good night. Bye, everybody.